Hey there, everyone. This is Chris McDonald. Sorry for the slow entry point there. Had a couple technical difficulties getting my microphone to work appropriately. Um, so welcome to you guys. It is Tuesday, the 27th, and we've been talking this up for a month or two and teasing it, and it's finally here. Just exciting to say that we are finally introducing the Race Day mobile timing app. And so today we're going to be talking like a brief intro to what that timing app is. And then from there, we'll be going into some ins and outs of how to use it. Obviously, you as timers will come up with the most creative ways that we never thought possible to use it. So we're just going to be going over some very basic use cases to get you going. And then you can use it. It's live right now, so feel free to go in and download. So today's agenda, like I said, is intro to the mobile timing app, and then we're going to kind of go into the usage of it, talking about the app flow. And when we talk about app flow, we're talking about pulling data down and pushing data up, and then the different modes of shoot modes, result mode, assigning an offline event, and then just reminding you that you can get support there at the bottom of the app. So when you're looking for it, this is the icon you're looking for. So when you go into your app store, don't hesitate. Again, you can get in there and pull this down. It is the Race Day mobile timing app, and this is your icon that you're looking for. So what is it and where is it? We've already said that it's in the Android and Apple Store, but what is it? It's a low-cost solution for timing, and when we say timing, I mean timing, not backing things up. It's a low-cost solution for timing very low volume finish lines. I was talking with Matt earlier, and I was like, yeah, like 100-person event, and he said, well, be careful with that one because a 100-person 1 mile would be very, very challenging. So I actually changed the terminology here to point out low volume finish lines. So you could have a 600-person 100-mile race where you're going to have somebody finishing every 5 minutes. That would be a low volume finish line. Or a 1 mile event that maybe has 25 or 40 people. That would be a low volume finish line. And so you are able to time the event completely with the app, but there are some restrictions, and we'll go into those here in a second. For those of you that don't do many trail ultras and you don't time very small events, this is a great backup device for races to complement your chip timing hardware. So just keep that in mind. It can be used both offline and online. Now, obviously, if you're trying to do that low-cost solution for timing low-volume finish lines, you will need to keep in mind that you will need to be online if you're pulling that data down, and you will need to be online if you're trying to push those results up live to the web. But if you're using it as a backup device, you can use it offline. Now, obviously, the data will stay on the device until you want to export it out. And so there is an export function where you can push both the result file and a TXT file of the raw data out. And the beauty of that is it is an email. You can pull it out, put it into a file folder, and both Race Day Scoring and Race Director can import that data. Kind of jumped ahead, but so we just want to point out what it does and doesn't do. So some people, you might hear, oh my goodness, this is going to mean that I'm not going to be timing anymore because people can use this app. Not true. This, don't get me wrong, if you've got a 40-person race that is super simple, there's not much to it. I mean, realistically, you're probably not doing much for that race anyway. And your timing services are probably, or your price points are probably so low just so that race doesn't go under. So you can score this simple race without using tags, without using decoders. And again, super simple races. It does provide a backup file, like we said, that can be easily imported. The format is the same as PC Timer. So for those of you that scored in Race Director for a while and used that PC Timer as a backup import function for backup data, it is the same file type. So what doesn't it do? It doesn't do split. So when you're live scoring and publishing, it is only set up to do the finish line. You're not going to be doing chip starts. So keep that in mind. You're going to be doing gun time data here. So it's not going to support multiple starts for a single event. Now, will it start or will it support like an 8 o'clock start for a 10K and an 8:15 start for a 5K? Yes, you would need two different devices. But then you could go into, on each device, you could go into each specific event and have those start times. So if your bibs are indistinguishable from each other for 5K and 10K and they're starting at different times, it would make it a lot more challenging for you. So again, now this is only for scoring. This is not for using as a backup timer. So if you've got multiple starts for a single event, you're trying to use it as a backup timer, you'll still get that raw data and you'll still be able to see the raw data times for each bib number. There are no internal age groups built into this. So when we say simple races, we mean simple races. So if you need age groups, and some of you guys and girls do this anyway, but if you do need age groups, you must go in and set them up at the run sign up level. And for those of you that don't know how to do that, you can go into our knowledge base and check out how those functions work and how to set up overalls and age groups. And then addition to that, there is no team scoring. So again, keep these in mind when you're turning around and saying, you know, hey, if you're maybe not a timer or you're just getting into timing and we're going to use this free tool and it's going to solve all our problems, this is not true. So it's great for really small events, but anytime there's any complication to the event, like any complicated piece, you're basically using it as a backup timer at that point because it's not going to be able to score and publish complicated races. So using the app, I'm going to go into a lot of different pieces of this. So first things first, when you download the app and get into it, you are going to end up logging into Run Signup. So logging into this gives the user access to your races associated with the profile. And so it does use the OAuth 2. Again, when you click into that, you're going to be putting in your username and password if you're not already logged in. And then that way, when you go to pull data or push data, you will have access to the races like you would in your timer profile. So now we're in, and this is what the app looks like when you land there. So I will say, you know you're logged in when you see this little icon at the top. This is the logout button. And then if you hover over this icon right here, it kind of gives you a breakdown of these app flows that we're talking about. And so there's also a start guide here at the bottom that pushes you to our knowledge base, and you can go in and review a lot of this information that we're going over today, and even more. So again, if you're in the app and you have questions, you can go into that start guide button, and it's a great starting place to learn more about the app and what it can do. So the score and publish results, when you use this piece, the participant data sticks down from Run Signup, and all of your results will be uploaded to Run Signup. So any results at Run Signup for the event that you're scoring. So if you're doing like a 5K and 10K, it's not going to delete out the other event. But if you have, say you're focusing on the 5K for this, when you click into it, if you already have 5K results, it will remove them. So any existing results or run sign up for the event you're scoring will be deleted. So this flow should only be used if you're planning on using race day mobile timing as your sole scoring method. So keep that in mind. This is where you go if you've got that super simple race and you want to use the app to do everything. So once you click into it, you get into your races because we're logged in. And so we're going to click into the 428 V2 testing. And now we see once we click into that, we've got two events there. We've got the 5K V2 and the 10K. So again, these might have separate start times. It looks like they do, 7:46 and 6:46 p.m. Now, in order for us to do this on and get those live, that score and publish live times from the app, you're going to need two different devices, one on the 5K and one on the 10K. So again, keep that in mind if you're planning on using the app for this purpose. Once you click into your event here, the 5K, it gives you multiple different options here. And if you see on this with the score and publish, you can see a red, and it actually flashes red to gray, but you've got a sync up to the cloud. So on all of these, when you're in this flow, you're syncing the data up to the cloud. And so you don't need to click on that or anything like that. It just is where it is. It's telling you which way the data is going. So you've got now 3 different modes here: a finish line mode, a shoot mode, or 2 modes, and then your results. And then you also can assign an offline event, which would be, adding an event that's completely offline. Also, before I forget, we're going to bring this up multiple times, but there's a Get Support button at the bottom that opens up your email on your device and allows for you to send a support ticket in. Now, we deal with this both with Race Day Scoring, with the check-in app, with all of our tools. When you send in a support ticket, you need to tell us what's going on. Our support team loves you. They love helping you. However, if you just write the word help or it broke, we don't know what specifically you're talking about. So if you are having an issue or you're kind of at a stopping point and don't know what to do, and you hit that Get Support button, please make sure to let us know where you're stuck or what issue you're having. So let's talk about these modes. So finish line mode. This mode focuses on entering times for the athlete as they finish. This operator's main task is record the times of the athlete. It's optional whether or not they record the bib numbers in the finish line mode as well. So this is making sure they get the times right. So you can just quite literally hit the enter button and it'll ding the time each time you hit the enter button. So there's also, and we'll go into these shoot mode and results later on. So there's also the backup timer here, and the backup timer, the participant data will sync down from run sign up, but none of your results will be uploaded. So the benefit here is it allows you to get the bib data without overwriting anything existing at run sign up. It's really useful if you're using, obviously, the app as a backup solution. You will need to plan on using the export function to import the data into your main scoring system. So again, you're going to have an export function within Backup Timer. You're going to be able to push this data out via email, and we'll give you some examples at the end of what those exports look like. And then Score Offline, this is no participant data will sync down from run sign up. None of your results will be uploaded to run sign up. However, you can score an offline event without an internet connection. So the data can be exported or assigned to a run sign event later by using one of the other app flows. So we're going to go in really quickly. If you click on the Score Offline, you can then click on Add an Offline Event. You set your event name. It drops in here. and you can add in people. You can do everything you need offline completely. So again, you're hitting score offline, add the offline event, and you can see your little cloud is telling you you are not syncing up or down. So that finish line mode that we talked about, and we click into finish line mode, and for this, you have finish line mode for this specific event is an offline flow. So if we go into finish line mode, we can go and hit the start timer. And if you hit start timer, it's just going to start from right then. So if somebody's counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you hit start timer, it's going to start. Or let's say you started at a specific time of day, like 8 o'clock in the morning. You can click into the time here, or right here, and it brings up change start time. And as soon as you do, we change it to 8 o'clock. It doesn't set this to 8 o'clock. It sets this to the elapsed time since 8 o'clock. So in this specific scenario, the time that we hit save was 8:45:54. Sorry, 10:45:54. So just keep that in mind. The first time I was playing with it, I was like, why doesn't it say 8? If you wanted to say 8 up here, you need to set this to 12 a.m. Now, when you just keep in mind, once you type in these bib numbers, this elapsed time will present in the export, but as will the time of day. So you don't need to worry about you don't need to worry about getting this to be your time of day. You can set this to your actual start time because both of those fields will be exported. And so anytime you see a bib 0, so we've hit OK. Now we're going in and we're starting to enter people in finish line mode. If we just hit record, it'll say bib 0, but it puts it saves the spot. If we then can type in bib entry 1245 and hit record, and it will log the time for that person, same as 555. So when you're in this mode, if you press this button right here, it asks you if you want to go into the mode screen. If you leave, it's going to bring you back. Like, it's going to ask you if you want to continue. Please note, it's not going to allow you going into shoot mode because it's going to want you to stay in one of those modes until you're done. So we came back and hit cancel. I typed in some people, and let's say bib number 5 finished alongside somebody else. So I typed in 1, 2, 3. I hit record for somebody else, and I typed 5. I can press the plus button, and it puts the same time. If it was like a tie or somebody really close that you didn't see, it allows you to hit that plus button and show that 2 people finished at that same time. I ended up clicking the minus button here to delete it, so it went away. So again, you can use these plus minuses to both delete and add in reads in finish line timing mode. If we hit save, it'll ask you if you want to save and quit. If we do that, we save and quit, it will bring us back out. So again, once you're out, it will allow you to delete the online event. Probably don't want to do that if you've got results in there. So that was finish line mode. In shoot mode is a little different. Shoot mode is used when someone wants to get the order of finishers by providing all the bib numbers in their place order. Now, where would this be a good place? Maybe cross country, where a lot of people just try to get the bib numbers in order. This is similar to pull tags at a finish. And so then you would enter the bib numbers into the system where you might already have somebody hitting finish line mode where they're just hitting times. So the system will match up the bib numbers with the times from finish line mode to produce a full result, position, bib number, and time. So for those of you that just went into your Wayback Machine and time warped back, 10 years or 15 years into large races using pull tags and time machines or summit readers, where you were just hitting enter on the pull tag or enter on the time machine and pulling the tags and keeping them on the string. That's essentially what you're allowing this to do if you're not in finish line mode, if you're not typing in the bib numbers, and in shoot mode if you're just punching in the bib numbers as fast as you can in that shoot. It's not necessary to use shoot mode if you're entering in all the bib numbers in finish line mode, but it can be used to check to ensure the order of finish is accurate. So that's what shoot mode is. Think of it as the old school putting people into shoots at the finish line. And you can either enter in bib numbers by typing them, or you can use the camera icon to scan barcodes or QR codes on the pull tags to process them more quickly. So once you're into here, so we saved that finish line mode, we went into shoot mode, and we can see the data already in here. So the mobile timing would like to access our camera the moment we get in. So we're going to hit OK. So we still see the data in here. We go into shoot mode, and now I didn't get a picture before, nothing was in here, but the moment I opened the camera, I showed it a bib number. Oh, sorry, these are actually out of order. I apologize. The barcode scanner is using this. So the moment I hit OK, it went in and kept assigning this bib number. So it kept assigning it because I was trying to take a picture and I wasn't fast enough. So again, for those of you using barcodes or bib or QR codes in shoot mode for say cross country, you can do that with the app on the phone. So bib grid mode is what we talked about. So if you're in finish line mode, you can go in and you've got your time running. You can quite literally, and obviously this is for a very small event, because if you have 200 people in here, it's going to be very, very challenging to scroll through and find everyone. But you can click on the number as they finish, and it will timestamp who they are, and you can see bib number 3001 finished in 307. And so as you keep doing it, you get more and more times, and then you save the results. And once you save it, you can then export it. So the results function here, you can view and edit results manually in this mode. You just have to use the edit button in the top right corner to make changes to any results by tapping the row and adjust as needed. So the conflicting results, like when you pull in both of these, it'll highlight in red if the order is off, and you can actually click into this and choose which person actually finished here. And you can clear this as you need it. So again, this will happen if you have a bib in finish mode for a time and position that's different in the shoot mode. So it's a great way to validate the data. And again, this is when you're trying to use one device just to hit enter as people are finishing, and another device to just scan people in the shoot. And then once you get the results, you can push these live and you can see these results. You probably have seen this kind of data before on Run Signup. You can edit the metadata. And again, this is going to clear out any other results for the 5K for this event. So just keep that in mind. Exporting data. If you click this button right here, it will help you export. And so when you do, you can quite literally, it opens up your email, it drops a CSV and a TXT file, and then, oh, sorry, I actually have a delete function in there too. If you wanted to delete it out, it asks you two times if you want to delete it. So when you export the data, that CSV looks like this, and you can see you have your finished time in there. And then the TXT file actually shows the time of day. So that's why I say you don't have to worry about making sure that the time at the top, if you're using it as a backup timer, you do not have to make sure that backup timer is set to 12 or something like that, because you'll get both of these backed up. And for those of you that are trying to score or pulling a CSV into some other result setup or something like that, you can use this. For those of you that are using it as a backup timer, you can export this, the TXT, and pull it into, whatever scoring platform you want, but preferably, obviously, Race Scoring or Race Director. And this is that same PC timer format that has bib, date, and 24-hour time. So that was a lot. I'm sure there are a number of questions that I can go through.
Yeah, I just wanted to, this is the Race Day team, just kind of want to underscore again, really an important point about the backup timer mode, as Chris was covering, a lot of different modes here. But on the backup timer mode, is really important to understand that that is definitely a device that you can use in very different situations. It could be in an ultra course where it's out at a checkpoint, we have very limited cell conditions, or you're in a completely remote area. And now you have a handheld device that you can be recording people coming through those checkpoints or those split points and stuff. And then once you can establish connectivity, you can bring that back in and put it into your scoring system. So it can definitely be used for split data and be used for those scenarios. And you really have a handheld device that you can use for those, maybe those remote split locations. But that would be only done in the backup timer mode.
Yeah, good point. That, again, when just going back to it, when we talked about those splits, the live splits aren't. You're not going to be able to produce live splits and score from the app. If you're doing backup splits from the app, you would just need to pull that data down and push it into whatever your scoring platform.
One question we had was, if you're able to go back to the results view, Crisp.
Yep.
In the top right of the screen here, there's an edit button, and that allows you to actually make changes to this screen. So you could adjust times, you could change bib numbers, you can add results, I believe. So that will allow you to make any changes you need after you've saved finish line results, and it's locked you out of that screen.
Yeah, and I was just checking with one of the programmers on the ad. The ad will add it to the end with a little bit of a 10 millisecond add to it. So you can definitely add new results, like completely missing results, and then just edit them after you do the ad to get them into the time and place that you need them.
So again, what I would suggest for those of you that are that have been looking for kind of a backup solution, I say this, and Matt says it, and James says it, and the support team says it, but create a test event and try it. Obviously, this is a new release, and a lot of you are seeing it for the first time. And it's Tuesday. You've got several days to test things out if you plan on using it this weekend. So the recipe, we always talk about the recipe for disaster is opening the new toy on Saturday morning, not having tested it, and then getting mad that it doesn't work because you didn't test it. So if you're planning on using this, which I think is going to be a great tool for a lot of timers, because you can export these times. I think most timers are going to use the backup timing function. And so, finding some data that you have, or pulling up an old event and rescoring that and pulling some of this data in just to practice would be a very, very good idea in advance. Are there any other? Yeah, the results will be available in real time as you, I'm sure there's James can probably speak to whatever cache there is, maybe 30 to 60 seconds for things to push up.
It's not necessarily real time in the sense that like as you like click finish time, it's not publishing them one by one. It's after you save, that's when the results go to run signup.
Yeah. Oh, for editing, Lou, it would be the same thing. So as you edit and save.
Yep. So when you go in the edit mode, you'll see like there's a save button. When you save it, it just pushes those changes and you're good to go again. But yeah, it's a good thing to understand. It's not like as soon as I type something in, it automatically goes. It's basically like you're editing a form, and then when you save it, those changes go up all at once.
All right. Well, there's no other questions. You guys have a new toy to play with. Let's see. Can you update a bib while scoring? You mentioned a new function. Yes. So that would be the edit function.
You can also edit when you're in finish line mode. As you're timing, you can tap the bib number and change it in a previous result that's already been recorded by you in finish line mode.
Yeah, so finish line mode is in here.
If you just tap like 1, 2, 3 there, it'll open up a prompt and will allow you to change that. Similarly, you can adjust a time on the fly. Actually, no, you can't adjust the time. You can adjust just the bib number there.
But a lot of times in finish line mode, you don't need to adjust the time because you maybe hit it too many times, because you can always hit record as a marker. And so if you accidentally hit record as a marker, you can always go back and delete it really easily.
So Lou is saying generally he has the finish line person and a second person to check from his typing. So you need to handle the second device. That's exactly the use case for having one person on this same race and event running finish line mode and a totally different person on a different device running shoot mode. So what they do is shoot mode person, they just are responsible for collecting all of the poll tags and getting them in the right order. And then after everybody is finished, they go through and process all of the bib numbers that have come in the proper order. And the finish line person, they don't necessarily have to ever enter a single bib number at all. They could if they see coming up the road, there's bib 1, 2, 3 coming, and they know they can preemptively type in that bib number and enter it in. That's great, but they are not required to. So you can set it up like that, where you have one on finish line and one on shoot, and then it all merges together on the back end. You just don't necessarily have to. If you're using finish line mode with bib grid, you could accomplish everything in finish line mode, but that is definitely supported for you, Lou.
Yeah, and what Matt's talking about is this right here. Once you pull them in, with finish line and shoot mode, you get these conflicts, like if something doesn't match up. So you can click in and make sure which read this actually is. All right. I think we've answered just about everybody's questions. So again, take some time, play around with it, test it out. I would, again, advise doing this on a test event and not a live event, just in case you decide to go bananas and post a whole lot of times. You don't want to accidentally post times to a race that's coming up this weekend today. Yeah, and if you have any questions, obviously you can use that get support button at the bottom, or you can reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to help you out. So with that being said, thanks for joining us today. And I think our next Timer Tip Tuesday is in a couple weeks, and Shelly will be sending out a reminder about that in the coming days. So thanks so much, and we will talk to you soon.